You have spent most of your professional life trying to figure out this thing we call leadership in one form or another from different angles. Very simple question, Deborah. What is this thing we call leadership?
So such a simple question that it's really not so simple.
That's right.
I guess that if I wanted to put an overall frame on it, I would say that my work over time has really focused on what we call distributed leadership, although people could call it collaborative leadership or collective leadership. So starting at the individual level, it's not only about the individual, it is about the individual and the people that he or she is working with who collectively are greater than whatever one person can do. And now in our work at the organizational level is to say the person at the top can no longer just alone deal, not that actually he or she ever could, but deal with the complex issues of our time. And so how do you set up a whole system that collectively creates entrepreneurial leaders who are leading different change efforts? Leadership is not just about the person, it is about the person and a collective of folks who are coming together to create new things and make change happen.
So the last one you mentioned, distributed leadership at the organizational level.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were talking to a group of business leaders and explained to them, here are a few of the key things you would consider doing within your organization such that this notion of distributed leadership would be thriving here, what would those few things be?
First of all, we talk about it from command and control to cultivate and coordinate, or from the bureaucratic to the collaborative enterprise. And what that means is not just top-down decision making, but both top-down and bottom-up. It doesn't mean you're getting rid of top-level leaders. What it means is that you've got top-level leaders, but also leaders at all levels. So creating those leaders, having there be entrepreneurial freedom to choose what you do and how you do it and look for opportunities in the marketplace, but then also to have guardrails, because what you want is freedom, but freedom where people are working in an aligned way toward improving the organization.
If someone weren't doing this stuff already, then they considered trying to build an organization that has distributed leadership, what would one or two of the toughest challenges be in trying to make that transition?
So it is very tough, and we are working with a number of organizations who are trying to make that transition. Several things get in the way. One is strict rules about what you can do and where you can go and who you can speak to. So in order for people to be autonomous, they need to be able to go and cross boundaries, and if that's not allowed, then they hesitate to do it.
Right.
If they get punished for thinking outside the box or for coming up with something that's a little bit different, then you stifle that immediately. If you don't have support from on high for these efforts, that's almost the worst thing. The other thing is transparency. In order to have people unleashed, there has to be transparency around how decisions are made. What are the rules by which one idea goes forward and another idea does not? If that's political or people don't understand what it is, then they're less apt to want to engage in the system because they just don't know the rules of the game. So you need transparency around those things.